Let go, rain. It's not your song to sing no more. Goodbye, blame. Weights can lift you up. You can find a way to drop them. Can you feel the wind? Say you do, it's how it all begins. Then comes reason, then purpose. Well, you will find your way. In the meantime, may the sun bless you with its rays.
Yeah, let's go and coffee it.
いやー美味しそうだなこのソーセージ。
그냥